We got a good one today. We're going to talk about how to lose belly fat without doing thousands of crunches, without just doing ab exercises. And I'm going to tell you the truth about losing belly fat in general that a lot of people do not understand. And it's the reason that 90% of people will never lose their belly fat, right? They don't understand how to go from this to this. They don't even understand how to lose an inch. So I'm going to go through that today. And hopefully, if you apply this to your life, you'll be able to lose belly fat, but also keep it off, guys. All right. So understanding why you gain belly fat in the first place. That's obviously going to be super important. All right, so let's go back. All right, so like I said, your abdomen is one of the first places you gain fat. So a lot of times when we gain fat, one of the first places is going to be our stomach, love handles, lower back, right? Belly fat comes from poor nutrition, calorie surplus, lack of exercise. And belly fat isn't just aesthetically not pleasing, but it's also an indicator of poor health. That's why it's important to get rid of it. So if you're a woman and your belly fat is 35 inches or more, or if you're a man and your belly fat waist circumference is 40 inches or more, you're at an increased risk for developing heart disease and type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all of those. But also, that means you have a lot of visceral fat around your organs, which is super, super dangerous in the long run. All right, so what's the most important factor when it comes to losing fat? It's not doing losing belly fat. It's not doing crunches. It's not doing a bunch of planks. It's not doing a bunch of burpees. It's not doing a bunch of cardio. It is being in a calorie deficit, guys. A lot of people just focus on the exercise. They focus on doing extra cardio. They see 5-minute ab workouts on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, or they see influencer workout and they're like, oh, I'll just do this and eat whatever I want to and lose the fat. No. And let me tell you why the fuck that won't work, guys. First of all, no fat loss is going to occur without a calorie deficit. You can do thousands of crunches, right? But if you never lose body fat by having a calorie deficit, you won't ever see your abs, guys. Just think about that. You can do crunches for years and years and years. I've seen a lot of people at the gym, they do way more than I do, right? Consistently. But guess what they don't do? They don't make sure they're in a calorie deficit. They don't pay attention to nutrition. So year after year after year, they still have a lot of belly fat, right? While I'm going from this to this, they still have a lot of belly fat because they're not cleaning up their nutrition, guys. You need to make sure if you want to see your abs that your nutrition is on point because you won't see your abs if your body fat percentage doesn't go down. And if you're not in a calorie deficit, your body fat percentage will not go down. All right. So sustainability is also going to be important, right? Because obviously when you start your calorie deficit, if you're in it for like 2 or 3 weeks, you'll lose a little bit of fat. But one of the last areas to lose your fat is going to be your belly, lower abs, love handles, lower back, which means that you need to not only be in a deficit, a high protein deficit, but be in one consistently. All right. You must stay in a deficit long enough to lose the fat. Right. So one of the things that helps me a lot is seasoning my foods, make sure I enjoy all my meals, keeping my meals super simple. That makes it easier for me to consistently eat those foods. Right. If I was eating, for example, I once got some meal prep that a bodybuilder recommended. He was like on prep and he was like, yeah, man, just try this meal prep. And it was like not seasoned ground turkey. It wasn't seasoned well, right? It was literally just, they cooked it. And I was like, I can't eat this shit. When I make my ground turkey, I like to put a lot of different spices in it. I like to put some cheese in it. I like to put, vegetables in it as well to spice up the flavor to make it easier for me to sustain, right? Also, I was dating some chick and she had some meal prep place. I think it was right outside of Luthervfitness. And she brought it to me one day. It was like ground chicken and I almost threw up. It had like no fucking flavor. And I was like, I can't do this shit, right? I like to season my foods well, right? And make sure that I can actually enjoy them. Because if I don't enjoy my foods, obviously I won't eat them consistently. So I like to enjoy my foods, guys. You got to make sure you're seasoning your foods well. A lot of people spend a few weeks in a deficit, lose some fat, but they don't lose all the belly fat and they quit. And then they gain it all back and then they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't reach my goal. And it's because they weren't consistent. Your calorie deficit got to be sustainable because, like I said, one of the last areas to lose your fat is generally going to be your belly fat, love handles, and lower back. All right. Curbing your cravings, guys. So just working with clients, but also working on my own nutrition, right? I found, especially because I had like a really bad sugar addiction, like candy. I used to love candy, love gummies. So I found that the less processed foods you eat, the less processed foods you crave, but also having high protein, high fiber, and high water intake, like a gallon a day, right? Fiber like 30 plus grams a day, high protein, like 1 gram per pound body weight every single day will really help curb your cravings and keep you full throughout the day. But Also, eating more regularly throughout the day to make sure your blood sugar stays stable has helped a ton as well, right? For example, if you eat your first meal at 7 a.m. and then your next meal at 7 p.m., your blood sugar by 7 p.m. will be very low. You'll be craving high sugary foods and you'll probably end up eating like pizza and crumble cookie, right? Versus if you ate more consistently throughout the day, every 3 to 4 hours, then your blood sugar will be more stable. By the time dinner comes around, you won't be so ravenous and you won't overdo it. So if you find yourself not eating, breakfast and eating your first meal at like 2 p.m. and you're ravenous and you always overdo it, try eating more consistently throughout the day. All right. That'll really, really help. And also, thank God we live in 2024 where they have all these different options, right? Look at all these options: low calorie ice cream bars. They have protein shakes that taste insane. They taste really good. Back in like 2014, protein shakes taste like ass. I'm not even gonna lie. Protein bars taste really good. Atkins has peanut butter cups and they have good protein bars to curb your cravings. They got Fiber One brownies. They got Halo Top ice cream. I know a lot of people have been doing recipes in Ninja Creamers. No Diddy, but they've been doing a lot of recipes in that. So there is a lot of options, guys. Learning how to eat out. This is going to be super, super important. All right. Eating out is not an excuse to eat shit, right? And a lot of times when you're trying to lose belly fat, you are going to notice that obviously your journey is not going to be perfect. You're going to have days where you're going out to eat. So when you're going out to eat, you got to make sure you plan out ahead or you pick a healthy option on the menu. In 2024, there's a lot of baked options. There's a lot of grilled options. Every restaurant has lean meats, vegetables, and fruits. So there's really no excuse to not eat healthy if you go to a restaurant. If you don't eat healthy at a restaurant, you just didn't want to, right? Going out doesn't mean drinking a margarita, eating loaded fries and fried foods, right? Margarita and all these fried wings, right? That's your decision. You got to realize that at the end of the day, you control everything that you put into your body. Making excuses is only going to hurt yourself. Like it's not going to hurt anybody else. You can make all the excuses in the world. At the end of the day, you have to look in the mirror and you have to be happy with what you see. And when you're not, you're going to be pissed. So stop chasing that instant gratification. Stop eating those foods for that moment and then getting mad later. Just do what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. All right. Tracking progress and progress pictures, one of the most important things as well. So obviously tracking weight is going to be super important, but when it comes to losing belly fat, tracking your waist size is going to be especially important. All right. Because your weight can go up and down, right? You can gain 2 pounds and you can lose an inch off your waist. That means you're losing belly fat. That's a good thing, right? But tracking your waist size is going to keep you encouraged. It's going to help keep you in a calorie deficit, and eventually you'll lose the belly fat that you want to lose, right? So for example, I have a lot of clients, their goal is to lose like, 10 inches off their waist. And within the first 3 months, they feel like they haven't made any progress. And I'll send them the first check-in form and be like, listen, you've lost 6 inches off your waist already. And they'll be like, holy shit, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that, right? That encouragement keeps them going. And then they end up reaching their goal in a couple of months, right? So notice your progress, right? If you're fitting into smaller jeans, smaller shorts, smaller joggers, that's good. A lot of times I felt like my progress was slow. Then I looked at my number a month before and realized I'd lost 2 inches. So never lose perspective and always track so like you can look back and it'll keep you encouraged. All right. All right. So losing belly fat recap. All right. So if you want to lose your belly fat, right, this is majority nutrition. I'm not doing 1,000 crunches, right? The amount of times I did abs this year, it's April, and I've done abs probably 10 times this year. All right. But my nutrition has been on point. All right. Excess belly fat indicates poor health, increased visceral fat, risk of type 2 and heart disease. High protein calorie deficit is essential and consistently. Excess crunches and cardio won't replace a poor diet or replace a caloric deficit. All right. Stop letting the scale discourage you. You can gain weight and lose fat. Focus on measurements, fat loss over weight loss. Hope this video helps some of you guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Have a blessed day.